Oh man, hello world, what is up? Welcome back to the holidays now and wow. Thanks to Nerys and Sandra for a fantastic first half of the show. I'm Matt Forte. Yes, round of applause, actually. Let's hold for that. They're awesome. I'm Matt Forte, host of Build Series. We are here live at the Build Studio in New York City. If you are in the area, I cannot stress this enough, come on down. We've got a bunch of amazing vendors and creators here today with last-minute gift ideas for all of you holiday procrastinators out there, or someone, if you just want to come sit in a machine filled with cash, we have that. That is a real thing here. So tons of amazing presents and awesome guests. Speaking of which, our next guest is an international speaker and teacher on mindfulness and positive psychology. His new book, Stop Missing Your Life, How to Be Deeply Present in an Unpresent World, makes for the perfect holiday present, had to do it, perfect holiday present for anyone looking to live a more fulfilling and satisfying life. Folks, please make a ridiculous amount of noise and welcome Cory Muscara right here. Let's do it up.
Thank you.
Cory, congratulations. I'm so excited to talk to you about this book, man. This is your first book.
Yes.
Huge deal.
Huge deal.
Hold for applause. First book. Come on.
Thank you.
It's an achievement.
Thank you.
Talk to me a little bit about why now? Because you've been doing this for a minute. You've been talking all over the world. You've talked to tens to thousands of people, and now is the time to write the book. What was it that inspired you, man?
I've been working with a lot of people one-on-one and running retreats and workshops and speaking for years, and this felt like the next step to take all of that and condense it into a written form that could just scale at a larger level so that more people could access the wisdom without having to come in person.
What was, you talk about condensing it into written form. What was that process like? Because we've talked a lot about that on this stage about, a lot of people speak different than the way they write.
Yes.
So here's something you're very comfortable doing. You know this stuff inside and out.
Yeah.
You've been talking about it, but now you've got to transfer it to this different medium. What was that? Was that challenging? Was that exciting?
Oh my gosh, it was so challenging. It often felt like cutting little pieces of my heart out.
Wow.
The pain of trying to access something that meaningful, to me at least.
Yeah.
And then to convey it in a medium, it often felt inadequate. It was like there weren't words to put on what I was trying to communicate, and so the hardest thing was translating that to written word. The one thing I'm very happy about with the book is that I do feel like my voice comes across through that, and that's the one thing I didn't want to lose.
I think 100% in reading the book, it feels like a conversation almost is taking place, and you get to be a part of it. You say that it was a deeply personal process for removing little parts of your heart and discovery. Was there anything through this process that you learned about yourself, about how you practice your mindfulness?
Yeah, I really learned to make space for discomfort and uncertainty. I think a lot of times when we think of being present or being mindful, there's a lot of focus on just being present for the good stuff or focusing on the present at the expense of the things we don't want to feel. And that often creates a compartmentalized kind of happiness that we're happy when things are good, but not so much when things are bad. Yeah. And more than anything, I'm interested in taking people to a place of wholeness where they feel integrated and that they've actually welcomed more parts of themselves rather than needing to only find happiness by shutting away the stuff that they don't want. And I think, as we all know, you can't really get to that fulfillment by doing that because you're subconsciously running from yourself. So I had to learn to make space and be present for the full thing, the highs and the lows, the twists and turns, and the confusion. And that quite literally expanded me emotionally, psychologically to hold more. It was like a psychological vaccination for life.
That's wild. That is absolutely wild. Would you say the book reads well for someone who's a complete beginner to who maybe they've never practiced meditation before, or does it read for someone who's dipped their toes in the water a little bit and is looking to expand? Who's the perfect person for this book?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, my work has always been to create a bridge for someone that wouldn't normally be receptive to this. So my favorite thing is going to speaking engagements, and there's like the row of men in the back are like, all right, what's this meditation stuff gonna be about? Like, I live for that moment of like, huh, interesting. Yeah. So the book takes a person on that journey. I mean, the first line of the book, it says, I got into meditation to impress a girl. Sure. So like immediately I'm trying to establish some rapport. Yeah. And then we slowly go into the deeper stuff. And what I love about going into the deeper stuff is someone that's never been into this, like it takes them there, and someone that is really into this, there's something for that person as well.
100%. Yeah. You're talking about the beginning of the book. One of the things that's in there that I could read a whole book on, and I'm sure you get asked about this all the time, this very specific part of your life, where you spent 6 months in isolation practically, where you meditated for 14 plus hours a day, and with monks, and it just seems like an out-of-body experience, frankly.
Yeah.
And I'm very curious as to, one, what was like week 2 of your 6 months, like when you were getting acclimated to this like lifestyle, this total radical change, and just what drove you to go do that?
Yeah. So for those that might be a little confused, it was a 6-month silent meditation retreat, and it's interesting. I got into meditation because I had a hippie girlfriend in college. She was into it. I wanted her to think I was cool. She broke up with me 2 weeks later, so
it didn't work.
It didn't work.
Didn't work.
It's not like I meditated really hard and she came back to me. Lives in Madagascar now, runs a hostel.
Shout out to the girl that never was in Madagascar.
I told her this whole story, so she knows the role she had.
She knew you were going to plug the hostel on the show, which is what got it. Okay, cool. Very cool.
The different happy ending was that the pain of that breakup caused me to take the practice more seriously. And I just got so fascinated in this thing that was improving my focus, my well-being, and kind of a type A personality. So I said, like, how deep can I take this? A year later, I was in a monastery with a shaved head, living as a monk. And the idea of that was to see, could I sever myself from all the things that were currently bringing me comfort and find a quality of contentment that was from the inside out and that wasn't contingent upon external variables, or less contingent, we could say. And so that was the idea of the monastic setting. And yeah, it was, you eat 2 small meals. The last one's at 10:30 a.m., 14 hours of meditation a day, sleep for about 4 hours.
Does it take time for, like, because I wonder, you're there for 6 months, and you're literally 2 small meals and then 14 hours of sitting with your own thoughts. At what point do you start to feel the effects of that? Do you not feel like, what have I done? What am I doing here? This is going to be intense for 6 months. And does it start to feel like, oh, wow, I'm starting to discover about myself? Like, how deep into that process?
A couple hours.
Really?
Well, just because when you're severing yourself from all of the things that you normally distract yourself with, technology, other people, TV, you have to meet yourself. And very quickly you learn, if I can't befriend myself in this process, this is going to be a very bumpy ride. So you're confronted with a lot of things that you might have typically like regretted, parts of yourself that you don't typically like, and that is hard. I will acknowledge that, but there's also something beautiful in it because now you're actually meeting yourself, and you're learning to find peace within yourself. So very intense. The first week I did think I was going to leave because the physical pain was so intense from sitting.
Wow.
But I learned how to relate to that pain differently in such a way that it didn't actually create suffering, if that makes some sense. I could elaborate on that if you'd like.
I do, but I have a silly question. What are you sitting on for 14 hours a day?
Yeah.
Because this is a pretty nice couch.
I know.
We only got to do this for about
not
15
this
minutes.
Couch.
No, but this is plush. I'm just curious,
So
what do they provide you with over there?
I was like the only kid in kindergarten that couldn't sit comfortably cross-legged. I have tight knees and hips, and so everyone over there in Burma can sit really comfortably cross-legged, and they could do it on the floor. They didn't have cushions to prop yourself up on. They were like these very little thin foam mats. So the first week was
audible sounds of concern from the audience, mind you.
The only thing I had my pillows in my room, and I had a laundry line that I brought with me. And the first week I spent wrapping those pillows up in laundry line to create these bolsters that I could sit on so that it would prop me up just a bit.
The other monks tease you for that? Here's Cory with his homemade pillows again.
They would if they could speak, but fortunately everyone just gave me the eye.
But you could see it in their eyes.
I did.
Those monks and their sideways glances. You knew what was going on.
I knew what they were thinking. But once I found that comfort, like then the torment of that went away, and I was able to settle into the practice.
Right. One of the things you had mentioned, severing from everything that we're comfortable with, severing from technology. A lot of people in your field that talk about similar things, they'll often tell us to do exactly that, to cut ourselves off from technology. It's toxic. Take it out of your life. There's a really interesting approach towards the end of the book that you take where you actually develop meditative exercises that incorporate our technology, ways that we can have a healthier relationship with our technology. How did you decide or think of those exercises? Where did that come from?
Well, so much to say about technology, and I think it is important to acknowledge like having healthy parameters around it, but I also think it's important to acknowledge that technology is not going anywhere, and in many ways we have to treat it as like an extension of ourselves, in the same way that we can't campaign against having brains just because we have difficult thoughts. We need to learn to work with those thoughts. The technology, we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. There's still a lot of utility to it. The main thing we have to learn is how to work with it skillfully. So the first meditation I have with technology is called the scroller coaster meditation.
Love it. Great name.
Maybe you kind of get a sense of it just through the name, but instead of doing your meditation without your phone, you take the phone out, you open up your favorite social media app, and you start scrolling. And this is where the scroller coaster begins, because the emotional roller coaster comes up. It's like, oh, look at that cat. I love cats. Oh, look at that person. They have the best life ever. My life is terrible. And it's just like the highs and lows of all the different emotions. We're all familiar with this. But instead of going through that on automatic pilot, where that's taking you into that emotional roller coaster, we do it with more presence, and we could catch ourselves like, oh wow, look at this high. Oh wow, look at this low. And that distance allows us to not be trapped by it, and also gives us a little bit more awareness next time we get caught up in this roller coaster, so that maybe we go, maybe not in this moment.
Yeah. Is there? We're going to wrap things up in just a second, but is there? I know it's two different worlds, but I'm very curious. What was harder, writing this book or the 6 months with the monks?
They were harder in different ways, but I would say writing the book.
Really?
Yeah.
You had nicer pillows when you wrote the book.
I had nicer pillows.
I imagine.
This book stretched me into corners of my mind and heart that I hadn't been before, and I'm so grateful for the process for that reason. But yeah, this was hard.
Have you found, as you've continued speaking engagements and stuff, that now that you've written this book, it's sort of changed your whole perspective on that part of the process as well?
Yeah, it's taken my work deeper. It's more synthesized, it's clearer, and it's more aligned within me.
Very amazing. Well, I said it before, I'll say it again. It's the perfect gift for anyone that wants to go on a similar journey, and honestly, it's a gift for yourself as well. It's such a great book, and I really enjoyed reading it, and I appreciate you coming and hanging out for us. Where can people pick it up, man?
Anywhere books are sold, but right now, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, stopmissingyourlife.com, all the details are right there.
Fantastic. And you're going to hang around, you'll sign a couple as well?
Yes, I'll be here to sign
All right,
books.
so I told you, if you're not here right now, you've got time. Run down, 692 Broadway. Get yourself a copy. You can get it signed. Cory, thank you so much for being here, man. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Round of applause for Cory Muscara.
Thank you.